Yes, yes. There is a language of God and the angels, sure. But as far as mankind goes, we can't interpret that. That's why, in all honesty, if you went back and you studied this ancient Hebrew that they spoke, and you were to try and decipher that, the way they did their language and the way it was coded, you'd literally go insane. You'd go nuts trying to figure that crap out. I mean, and see, that's the thing is they're not gonna they're not gonna play games like that. All right. If you're receiving this kind of ancient language and stuff, I'd be I'd be nervous because I don't think that's there's realms, all right, good realms and bad realms, and they're fighting. All right, there's a battle going on. So a lot of this deception. I mean, think about your Vatican Church. All right, I don't know if anybody's ever really been there, or viewed it, or seen the videos on the Vatican and whatnot, but it's literally a city inside of a city. I mean, Rome's not actually that big, and the Vatican's a majority of that, and it has some of the most. It has all the world's treasures. I mean, the artwork and the construction, and I mean, just they have all the world's treasures. Just like offered to Jesus, bow down to me, and I will give you all the world's treasures. All the cities. So, you know, it's not that I'm saying that these religious organizations are, one definitely is, but I mean, scripture it isn't being told properly because it has to be controlled. If they can't deceive you by making you believe in evolution and Big Bang Theory and all that crap, then if you're going to believe in a religion, we've got to embellish it to where, you know, you believe in our way, our naturality. But when you really think for yourself and you start to understand what was God like? I mean, why would he create us? Why are they fighting over us? What is our purpose in this whole thing? And start to understand, I mean, there has to be a reason why he loves us so much that he'd go through so much trouble. To put us through so much, there has to be a reason beyond, well, he just wants a large family. We're going to go up there and be like his big puppy playground. You got to look further into this. There's more into this than what you're thinking. But it's not as hard to understand when you start to see how mankind has adapted, survived, and lived. No matter what, we're the only ones out of creations that have that big enough nerve that gives us the ability to speak and construct words and to have that type of knowledge. Like saying we came from monkeys and gorillas and stuff. They don't even have that nerve. They only know how to grunt, Oh, like they talk about the Neanderthal man, that carbon dating, they want to tell you things from millions of years ago and stuff, because they don't want you to believe that what God says in those scriptures is real, that we're only about 6,000 years old. Well, 6,900, we're close. We're about 6,000 years old, yeah. So they have to, you know, convince you that God can't be real in what he says because look, this thing's this old and this is this old. And you don't even realize we started out 10, 15 feet tall, but we brought that negative into our lives, that negative energy. Just like nowadays, when we added the AC and DC, that's what we did. The pyramids were actually energy capsules. Basically, when they put that gold on top, gold is the best conductor of electricity. And then they put these oscillants up, and that's how they could, transfer the energy and stuff. But our bodies live off an energy. Nature, plants, everything lives off an energy source. And because of this negative energy we bring into our lives and our world, we're dying faster, we're getting smaller, um, we're going backwards. uh, but yeah, I mean, even after the flood, the water's still here. And of course you're finding pyramids everywhere because we used to be one landmass, but after the flood, he split the world up. So we're not one landmass anymore. But however, geologically, most of the locations have remained the same as what the scripture has somewhat put out there because it all aligns, you know, with what scripture says. But you got to come to realize that, a lot of these civilizations back then, it was same with us. It was easy to manipulate our cardinal minds and convince us of all these things and do all these things because, we're just natural. We're babies. But the battle that they got going on, I mean, it's monumental. And when we get involved, then we'll understand. Um, but there's more to this purpose behind all this than what you're being told. But this is why he warned us about, watch out for the fake and falseness, And one of the biggest key things to me that I learned was in these times, what's good will be bad and what's bad will be good. And that's when you start realizing, okay, this is unfolding now. Yeah. Because in all reality, when you really look around and you really think about it, it's true. What's bad is good and what's good is bad. And that's how people are living. So this is not a time to be selfish. This is a time to give all you can give, because that's one of the key points he was trying to point out about give up these earthly treasures and take up your cross. Because when it comes to the treasures in heaven, if you don't have a lot of people that love and care about you or you appreciate you, and that you care a lot about, and there ain't a lot of people that you helped, you're a pauper. But I don't know. I know they just really want me to make sure you understand that if you're not helping each other, if you're not helping each other survive and taking care of each other, that you're more worried about you and you're stocking up and supplying and, you're going to endure to the end, screw everybody else type of attitude, that's not a good thing to do. You'll be the poorest person when you get up there. I'm telling you. So take it as you want, but you got to be careful of the information that they're putting out there and they're telling you all right now, because they're either going to convince you it's not real or they're going to convince you there's only one way you're going to make it, especially with this rapture. That's the big key point that they want to push this rapture movement, is to get you to dedicate yourself, to endure yourself right into it. Sacrifice your own blood into it. Sacrifice your children into it. Give your children to them. It's going to be, you'll see, but don't give up thinking for yourself.